Yeah, I'm not going to be able to hold all these. Nope. Those ones are staying on the table. Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I am doing a book haul for you guys. So this is a big summer book haul. I've accumulated these books since my last book haul. I don't really know when that was. So I don't really do monthly book hauls. I kind of just do it when I have a pile of books that I want to show you guys. So I have a pile of books that I have accumulated since my last book haul. So we're going to jump right into it. I kind of have three little sections. I have books that were sent to me by publishers for review. I have books that I thrift shopped. The pile of thrift books probably cost me about maybe $15 to $20, which is amazing considering what's going to be in that pile. Then I have a small pile of books I actually paid like full price for. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So we're going to start with the books that were sent to me for review, and I reached out to Enclave Publishing to see if they had a reviewer program, and they were really nice and actually sent me some books for me to review. And the first one they sent me is The Story Peddler by Lindsay A. Franklin. I saw this on everybody's Instagram feeds when it came out. So I was really excited to get that, and Enclave Publishing does Christian science fiction and fantasy, so I'm always looking for more Christian fantasy and maybe some science fiction. This one sounds really good. The main character, I can't say her name, doesn't just tell stories, but she weaves them into crystallized sculptures to sell, and she's kind of taken under by a cruel mentor and is wanting to kind of escape from that, and she ends up becoming the royal storyteller to the king. It sounds like. Anyway, it sounds like a good, fun, royal intrigue and some magic in there, so I'm really excited to this. Next one they sent me was a steampunk fantasy called Tainted by Morgan L. Boosie. Author name, sorry. And it is book one in the Souls Chronicle. I saw this on Amazon and Instagram, and when I went to their website, because I was looking on how to get Nadine's books because they were really hard to get. And I do read a little bit of steampunk here and there, so I'm really excited to get, I'm going to be excited to get all of these. So let's just stop saying that. I'm going to stop giving synopses because you guys know I'm terrible at them. But the next one I got was Scarlet Moon by S.D. Grimm. This is book one in the Children of the Blood Moon. Again, this is another Christian fantasy, and I just wanted more Christian fantasy. So I'm going to be reading all three of these and doing reviews for you guys. I next contacted Thomas Nelson, and unfortunately they didn't have a lot through their American programs for reviewers, but they passed me on to someone up here in Canada for Thomas Nelson. The first book they sent me was Murder at the Flamingo by Rachel McMillan. You guys know I loved the Bachelor Girl's Guide to Murder, the Herringford and Watts series. This is a Van Buren and DeLuca. Yes, DeLuca sounds very familiar if you're into the Herringford and Watts series. This is a Van Buren and DeLuca mystery series. This is a finished copy. They were very nice to send me a finished copy. I'm looking very forward to it. I love the covers. It's got that Great Gatsby kind of Roaring Twenties look to it, so I'm very much interested in that. Usually I'm not a huge fan of mystery books, as you guys might know, but for some reason Rachel McMillan's mysteries really draw me in, so I'm excited to get that one. Next one was a book I didn't know what was coming out, and they sent me an advanced reader copy of Becoming Mrs. Lewis by Patty Callahan, and this is the story of Joy Davidman, who becomes the wife of Jack Lewis, C.S. Lewis. So this is basically the kind of fictional biography of Jack Lewis and Joy Davidson's romance. And I didn't know this was coming out, and you guys know I love C.S. Lewis and anything about that, so I wanted to pick this one up. Its fictional biographies have just been really fascinating to me ever since I read Maud, so I'm kind of obsessed with them right now. The next three books were books I bought full price, and the first one is Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. This matches my Jane Austen set that I have, and I'm so happy this came out in this edition because I was really bummed when I first bought them that they didn't have Mansfield Park because I wanted the whole set, and I bought Mansfield Park in a different edition, so now I guess I have to collect Jane Austen's in that edition. You know, book problems. The next one I got was another anticipated release for me, but I didn't mention it in anticipated releases because I already own it. It's just another edition, and that is the Hufflepuff edition of The Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. I love these editions. I initially wanted to get my first full set of Harry Potter books in this edition. But when they announced the Philosopher's Stone, they didn't really talk about whether or not they were doing the entire series in the house editions. So I bought my, well, they're not over here anymore, but I bought my other hardback set, and then they're like, oh, here comes Chamber of Secrets. I'm like, great, thank you. Now I have 3 possible sets of Harry Potter books started. I'm not complaining. I'm not going to complain because I love these. This is my first like painted edges book. Like yeah, I'm all about this. And if you guys can't tell, I'm Hufflepuff. The next book that I bought full price was a bit of a trial to get down to because my Christian bookstore isn't in town. I mean, it kind of is. Like, there's an outskirts of town on the major highway where a lot of like truckers and our big theater is and everything. So there's kind of like that outlying just outside of town. It's not easy to get to. I'm terrified of our highways. There is tons of construction around there, so I don't go down there very often. To get Fox by Nadine Brandes at my Christian bookstore, they really need to move in town. It's too stressful to go down there. So I got Fox by Nadine Brandes. I loved this book. I've already read it, so I'm going to talk about my wrap up. But this was also our book club pick for August. It was August. And oh guys, this is almost one of my favorite books of the year so far, but we're going to talk about my wrap up. But this cover is stunning. Love it. The next pile of books were all thrifty buys. So they're going to be, this is stack, they're all hardbacks, and probably cost me about 20 bucks for all of these. So that's really exciting. So the first one is this massive book called A Wish Your Heart Makes, and it is a like book to movie live action adaptations of Cinderella. So it goes from Perrault's telling of Cinderella to the animation from Disney to the live action from Disney. And I found this, and it's got these beautiful like full page photos of like the live action and the animated, so I had to have it. And I found this, and you guys will never believe where. I found this at Canadian Tire, which by the sounds of it, if you're from the States, that sounds like an automotive hardware store. It is. It's our Canadian like automotive sports outdoorsy store, and they have this bargain book bin for some reason. So I look through it every now and then, and I found this for $8. It was like 80% off. So I was like, yep, why not? The next stack are a mix of like Value Village, my secondhand bookstore, and a thrift shop buying. And the first one is Elusive by Emily Lloyd Jones. I saw this on Scribd as an audiobook, and it just kind of intrigued me. And then I saw it randomly out of the blue at Value Village, so I'm like, why not? So I picked it up. So far though, content-wise, like you guys know I normally don't just buy books because I see them. So already content-wise, I tried it for the Booktubeathon, and it's already a little too much content-wise, but I'm going to give it a good like 100 pages go like I usually try to do, and then I can always just re-thrift it because it was like literally $3, and then I can re-thrift it back to my bookstore for book credit. The next book is pretty much in brand spanking new condition, and that is Secret by Lindsay Smith. I've seen this everywhere on book outlets, at Chapters for like $2, and even just at the thrift store for like $2. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to pick it up. It's set in communist Russia, and people can read each other's minds, or there's some sort of mind reader, so it's got like magical historical fiction. I don't know. It sounded interesting, and Elizabeth Wine blurbed it on the back, and it was super cheap. So I thought, why not? And again, if I don't like it, I can sell it back to my bookstore for book credit. The next one I also found at Value Village was The Walled City by Ryan Groudon. I still don't know if I'm saying that name right, but I read Wolf by Wolf and I really liked it. It's just a little harsher on the content side of things as well, but Felicia, I saw her review on it, and it is a bit darker in some of the content, but she said it was handled very well and appropriately for young adult, so I thought I would go ahead and pick that up. Plus I really do trust Felicia's reviews on things, so I'm going to give The Walled City a try, and I think it's like a dystopian. It's set in Asia, I believe. Yeah, but already there's like drugs and gangs and stuff in here, so it might be a little bit darker on the content, but I'm definitely going to give this a go and then let you guys know what I think about the content. The next 2 books are the 3rd books in a series, and I don't own the first 2 books. The first one is The Shadow Throne by Jennifer A. Nelson. This is the third book in the Ascendance trilogy, and Jennifer A. Nelson is a brand new to me author that I've absolutely loved everything I have read of her so far. I have listened to almost all of what's available on Scribd for audiobooks, and I have absolutely no complaints about her books content-wise. She's got great attention to detail. She writes great stories. So I saw this and I knew I wanted it, so I picked it up. The other book I have a third in a series of is The Beauty of Darkness by Mary A. Pearson. This is part of the Remnant Chronicles. I have read the first two books through the library and I saw this and I kind of wanted to own the series. Again, they're a little darker content-wise, but they're still pretty appropriate for YA, so I really did like it. This is a behemoth of a book, which is why I haven't picked it up yet. Also, the audiobook's only available on Audible. I'm going to have to actually physically read this one. We'll see when I get to this. The last book is probably the ultimate bargain find, and I was in a brand new thrift store in our town and saw My Lady Jane by the Lady Janies, Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. Now, I've seen this everywhere, and people have really liked it and given it rave reviews, but I was really hesitant to pick it up, and I wanted to try it through my library first, but all of their books in the thrift store were $1. So it's like, why not? A brand new YA book, I mean brand new last year, but a YA hardback book that is like a popular book for $1. So I get to the till, I'm pulling out like $1.25, and the lady's like, oh, actually all our books are half off, so it's only 55 cents. I paid 55 cents for this book. I am so stoked. I had to tell you guys, I paid 55 cents for My Lady Jane, and it is in relatively, there's one dent on the cover, but it's in really good condition. So, and the audiobook is going to be available on Scribd August 12th. Super excited. That is my bargain book haul. I think bargain book shopping is amazing. It gives me such a rush to find a deal like I did with My Lady Jane, and also just to come out of a store with an armful of hardbacks and you only maybe spent $11 on them. Bargain book shopping, guys, is where it's at. So if you guys have read any of these books, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions about them. And if you guys have any heads up for me for any of the content in these books, I also like to hear that. And as for the review books, I will get to them hopefully soon. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!